All right, come on in. There are chairs, more than enough chairs and booths on the sides. Be friendly and welcoming. All right, everyone. Thank you all for joining us here today. Are we live on internet? Live on internet. Hello, internet fans. We are so pleased to have everyone here. Aw, so nice to see so many people. Thank you all for joining in person, and thank you, internet, for dialing in as well. We are so pleased to have fantastic panelists for all of you here this evening to celebrate Women's History Month and our fantastic women entrepreneurs, Homegrown Alaska. Unfortunately, Tanya James with 60 Hertz Energy wasn't feeling well and had to stay home, but that's okay because we have three amazing panelists that are still here and will be sharing some great knowledge with all of you. So welcome again. This event is being hosted by the 49th State Angel Fund, which I run, as well as Norma Lucero from the Alaska SBA office and Erica Berry from the municipality's Office of Equal Opportunity. And we are so pleased to have all of you here this evening. Quickly, where's Sky Nevada? Oh, right behind our panelist. Sky, would you like to say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We hope you're having a good time so far. We are so excited for our panelists today. A big thank you to the Muni, the 49th State Fund, SBA, all of the things. We're so glad we can work together and come together as a business and public partnership to really emphasize the wonderful things that women do here in business in Alaska. And as a women-owned and operated business ourselves, we love to have you guys here. So thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Sky. Thank you for making it possible, and thank you all for being here at the Bridge Seafood. Next up, we'll have Jeff from the SBA give a few quick remarks and introduce our next lady to come up to stage.
Thank you so much. If we could go ahead and turn the lights down, the heat up, and load up my PowerPoint deck. I am with the federal government. I've got some really well-prepared remarks. It's going to run about 45 minutes. But I wanted to just take a moment and thank everybody participating. Thank the 49th State Angel Fund, our partnership with the city, and all of you for showing up as we hear about all these wonderful, inspirational women. But we don't want to listen to Jeff from the SBA talk about these inspirational women. So why don't we invite up Deb, a very inspirational woman, Deb Bronson. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm not going to thank everybody who's done thanks before, but this is a great venue, the Bridge, and I hear that they're not open for business on a regular basis, but women do such a good job of changing on the fly whenever needed. So I think they're doing a good job staying busy, I hear, which is excellent, doing catering and opening up this great venue, and that's what we all do. It's Women's History Month, and there's a lot of us who are doing a lot of things. One person cannot do everything. I said last year, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm an accountant, which is the exact opposite of an entrepreneur. But I love you guys, and without you guys, this whole city would not really work. So thank you for being here, and I look forward to the discussion. Okay.
Thank you very much, First Lady. Oh, we're so pleased. So that we get a quick sense of who is in the room, we're going to have you raise your hand, right? If you are a business owner or aspiring business owner, please raise your hand. Wow, majority of the room. There we go. Okay, who is here that, yes, round of applause for all of our entrepreneurs. Raise your hand if you support and work with entrepreneurs on a daily basis, all the support organization. Oh, sorry. Yep. All right. Entrepreneurs that too. Many of you here offer your services to entrepreneurs, and we couldn't do it without you. So there we go, ladies. That's who you have in the room in front of you. At least on very broad strokes, and everyone else that is here to support each one of you and all of our women entrepreneurs in the state. So we'll kick things off so that you have a sense of who is up here and hear some of their great accomplishments. Let's go through our panelists. If you'll quickly introduce yourselves, we'll start with Amy, and then and then Lena, and then Lisa. And then we'll kick it off with some great questions. At the end, we will have audience Q&A. So start thinking about what questions you want these fantastic panelists to answer.
Hi, I'm Amy Summer, and my husband and I own a company called Tutka LLC. We're a heavy civil general contractor, and we do a lot of things. Some of them don't make money, but the ones that do, we'll list those, and some environmental work. And I've been doing this since 1999, when I can go into this in however much detail you want, but my sister and I had, between the two of us, and I'm not going to say who had more kids, but 3 under the age of 2. So we were doing the whole hanging out in the closet with pillows under our head to have a conference call while our kids were beating on the door. No kidding, because we had to pay our bills. And if they said no, then what are we going to do? Because we had this inventory we had to sell. So not even joking, we did everything that you hear about before remote working was a thing. And I don't even remember if we had internet, but I know we had cell phones. We had cell phones because otherwise the cord wouldn't reach to the closet. So we'll just go from there. And then do the pillow.
Hi everyone. Testing 1, 2. Hi everyone, I'm Lina Malenga. I am the founder of Signet Revocational Center. I also own TLC Home Care in Alaska. We also have Aloha TLC Home Care in Hawaii, and then Denali Care in Seattle. I'm here for Signet Ring. We do CDL training and peer support chemical dependency. We also have a beauty program where we teach hairdressers, barbers, estheticians, and manicurists. And then I just recently got involved with a team called Power Bridge out of Florida. They've specialized in Department of Defense contracts. And basically they build everything from graphene. They're now building supercapacitors that can power whole cities for a long time. So we're thinking that solar panel is going to be obsolete here soon. And a lot of other things in Alaska holds the biggest deposits of graphite, which is the raw material for graphene.
So how do you beat that? So I'll follow up with doing the traffic control. So that's what I do. So yeah, we're out there on roadways, highways, all flaggers out there. That's what I do. I have a compassion. First, I should introduce myself. I'm Lisa King with Lincoln Traffic Control. And so, yeah, I was inspired just because I'd done traffic control for a good while, since 2000, excuse me. A little nervous, never got up here before, a bunch of people, so.
You're doing great.
And
you haven't got run over yet.
That's the whole reason why I'm here. I have a heart for keeping everybody safe out there, and it's a tough job. It's a dangerous job, and it's usually one that's not very appreciated. Because we don't have a lot to offer but safety. And what we do is keep you guys safe out there on the roadways as best we can. And so that's where my part is at. It's keeping you guys safe out on the roadways. So I've been doing this since 2017, and we're doing the rockfall mitigation out there on the Seward Highway. So yeah, we're going to wrap that up this year and see what else comes our way. So that's a little bit about what I do. So be kind to your flaggers, I always tell you. Yeah?
Especially on the Seward Highway. Gosh. Oh, so much going on out there. And thank you, three, for accepting to be on this panel here today. I'd love to hear more about your coming into this role of being entrepreneurs, being the owners of companies, and leading teams, especially in different industries, and learning along the way. What have been some of the challenges that you've seen, but also what has kept you going through this journey, because it's It's not easy every single day, and there's a lot that relies on you, people's salaries. How do you manage all of that on top of kids screaming around and just lives being busy in the community around you? Whoever wants to go first.
Well, something that you said reminded me of how did I start thinking I wanted to own my own business? Well, a lot of people don't know this, even you guys probably, that I grew up tendering fish with my father out here in the Pike Inlet. So we would sit out here and go to the set netters, like the Reddingtons was one of our clients. And I was in grade school, and my job was to count the fish and do the fish and game tickets. And then we would come over here to the port and unload the fish and get our, IOU, basically. And that's what I did growing up. And I didn't get paid by the hour because it was by the summer. So at the end of the summer, I was able to buy my school clothes. So that's kind of where, as growing up, I realized that it's not really an hour for hour thing. It's at the end of the day, how much fish did you catch? And how much fish did you sell? And I think we got 5 cents a pound for silvers back then. So I knew how to identify all the fish and what the pricing were. And sometimes they would try to stick a dog salmon in for a red salmon, and I'd say, no, that's not the right salmon. So I was like the fish Nazi in 5th grade. Okay? Hey, but we got migrant education funds at school, and I got special tutoring if I needed it because we were fishermen. So that's kind of how I grew up. And feast or famine, it was always like that. You ran your life by the tides. It wasn't, you got to get up at 8 a.m. It's, your butt better be there. And we don't care if you're happy about it, but you're going to be there. So my life now is kind of the same. Wherever the job is, you just have to go do the job. And it's not glamorous, but in the end, everybody works together and you see a bridge being built at the end, and then you kind of forget that y'all hated each other the whole time it was happening. And then we go on to the next job. So, is that enough info?
Yes.
Do you want more? Okay.
You answered it perfectly. I think the question was, how do we balance everything? I'm still trying to figure that part out. So I think I try to stick to my schedule, but I've got kids, I've got a lot of other things. I'm also part of helping our community. So it's just every single day you get to figure out, what your priorities are, what your purpose is, what your mission is, and then work towards that. Because we all have 24 hours in a day, and how we spend it really matters, So I realized when you stated what you stated about your babies, I was like, I'm going through that right now. We decided to have our second set. They're like 20 years apart from our first set. And we have grandbabies too, so people know I'll take my babies to different events with me, and I'm just in the front, then I'm running in the back, and I'm trying to coordinate. So there's really no magic formula. I feel like as women, we're built for it. We're built to handle chaos. We're built to manage it, and kids, and all the different responsibilities that we take on. So yeah, I think God built us that way.
Okay, I don't have enough money, so just take them all. So how did I begin all this? At first I thought doing hair was the way to go. We all want to look good, and so I was a hairdresser. That's how I started out. Nice. Not enough money in that though, unfortunately, but I own my own business, and so I did that for 15 years, and so I knew I could do it. Not much I couldn't, couldn't be scared to start something new. So I did flagging, and there's some good money in flagging. Everybody wants to be a flagger because you make lots of money. That's what you hear, and it's a lot of work. You can make money, but it's a lot of work. And so doing that, supported my family, got the kids their fun toys that they wanted. And then became a supervisor and then controlled some jobs and worked for some companies around town and worked out really good, you know. Got my foot in the door and I realized that with my kids' support, you know, they've seen me have my own business and they said, yeah, Mom, you can do this. You can do this, Mom. Get your own business going. It's like, no, it's just too much. So after enough nudging, I finally said, yeah, I can do this. So little by little, put it together and things just started coming together. You know, once you have that desire to do it, you start having opportunities come your way. Doors start opening up for you. And next thing you know, you're building something that you didn't even know you were going to build, and it's going to grow. And that's what I'm hoping for our company is that, you know, we can make the highways out here a lot safer, especially during, you know, nice to see the mayor here so you can hear this. We want to be able to, we want to have you guys all going home safe, you know, ourselves included, our hardworking people that are out there doing a dangerous job. You know, you hear a lot of negativity, but there's also a lot of positive that comes out of there because they just don't know. Usually that negative comes from people that just don't know what's going on. And they don't know what we're trying to accomplish. We're trying to keep you safe so you can go up and down those roadways without having, you know, more problems. Big rocks coming down on you for a while. So, you know, my heart's into that, and our workers are as well. You know, they're out there to see that you get through all that construction zone safely. Can't say enough about it. So I can go on and on, but anyway, that's where I'm at.
We'll keep the mic. Jumping off of that, I loved how you talked about like, oh, all of a sudden you're realizing you're building something and it's working. Some folks in this room might be in that process of, okay, at some point that moment is going to come. I don't know what it is, what does it look like yet, or how it's going to happen. All three of you, it seems at least from the outside, are on that other edge of, okay, we've had something worked, and we're continuing to grow it. Hindsight is always 20/20. What do you think was that moment? How did you know that things were working, and you realize, woke up one day and like, this is working. I'm onto something. Hindsight is 20/20. What do you think that looked like previously? What made that happen? Whoever wants to go first. Lisa, you're welcome to share the microphone.
Well, the hindsight is that, you know, like I say, I just, you know, I had that desire already. So, you know, if I had said hindsight is 20/20, that I was going to be doing hive control and having my own company, I would have been like, no, this isn't going to happen. But things just started to fall into place. I started doing a little bit more research into it. I didn't like the companies that were using unsafe practices. And never to name names, but I felt unsafe at times, and I was never backed at that. So I decided that I'm going to start a company, and I'm going to make sure that the people that I work with, that we're all following the same pursuit, that we are trying to be out there and due diligence, safety in mind. Number one priority. That's our goal. So hindsight, I don't know that hindsight or not, or just that, you know, my heart's still leading in that direction. So
Hindsight, as far as what worked, I've gotten into so many different industries that I can't really say that I work for that industry, work for this industry. I got into vocational because we use it as wraparound services. We had started a transitional house to help men and women coming out of prison, homelessness and addiction. So when we did the wraparound services, it was all new to me. I kind of had to stumble my way through it. So this process right now where I'm at is still new. So I'm going through that again. I always tell myself that I'm a student of life because I learned so much. And I just think, we go through life, we have a lot of problems that we have to overcome. When we overcome those problems, we get to share what that looks like, the testimony, our victories with people, and it'll help people out. I don't think we're supposed to get stuck there. I think we're supposed to keep going and keep learning and keep putting yourself in a comfort zone in an uncomfort zone and get out of your comfort zone. So at this moment, I'm gonna say this is still a new industry to me, and I haven't figured out the solution or the answer yet. But when I do, I'll share it with you guys. But it just comes down to I think just showing up every day, learning, and just becoming a master at what you're doing. Just being really, really skillful. Like I always say, if you're in the field of home care, if you're in the field of flagging, I think in order for you to get ahead of your competition, you gotta study every day to become the best flagger you could be, to become the best. Whatever you do, you gotta study every day to master that skill, because ultimately you're the one that's serving whatever your population that you're serving. You got to get out there and serve them to the best of your ability. So I think that's how things change for me when I realize I'm learning, but I have to master it eventually. So.
Okay, let's see here. I say we, thinking way back when it was my sister and I, both of us had worked in government contracting and environmental cleanup, and we worked together since I graduated from high school. I worked at the Highland landfill. I was the hazmat Nazi. I could tell you where all the trash went and where all the hazmat goes, and that was my job. And that was my passion. We traveled around the state and did household hazardous waste cleanups, which was really lucrative back then because people didn't understand, because I'm aging myself, because people didn't understand what hazmat was, household hazardous waste. Okay, we all know now what you don't do with certain things, but back then nobody knew. So it was just cleaning all these sites up around the state. Anyway, so we did have a leg in that we knew about the EEO type things for women. So we applied for the 8A program initially. I think we got in there in 2000 and we started the business in 1999. So, and we got our first 8A sole source contract in 2003. And it honestly was an answer from God. Because it was a new contracting officer who didn't already have somebody pegged for that job and had to spend the money by midnight tomorrow. So I said, what do you want us to do? Oh, I've done that a million times. Oil, water, separate. Yes, I know what oil is, I know what water is. So, and I've been on a boat before and I know what you're not supposed to put in inlet. That's right. So we got on a plane and we went up to Fairbanks, and needless to say, it was very stressful. I was really skinny back then. Really skinny, like 112 pounds. So I didn't have to eat. I just had to show up to this meeting and drink a lot of coffee, and we got it done. We hammered it out, and they found the money, and we had a 5-year contract. Yeah, so, and then we actually had to do the work and do it good, by the way. But it helped us because it was year-round work versus just like a job here, a job there. It was every month we had to do the same thing, every month. We'd go around building to building to building on the bases, and then we would get the other bases. And that really was our first big government contract as a prime contractor. So that was when I was like, wow, this is really working. And then 9 years later, they kicked us out of the program. Yeah, you get timed out. Yeah. So then we still do Hub Zone, and the Anchorage MOA program and the state DBE. We still try to maintain all of that because it really has been beneficial and gives us opportunities like what we're doing today. So everybody's so busy doing their jobs so good that they forget that, including myself, that we have to give back to the community and be part of things like this to help other people. And that's great that, I could be home doing this and that, but you gotta take time out of your day, even though it's not convenient for anyone ever, because obviously we don't get paid to be here. But yeah, so people are like, well, I can't do that because I got a job. You're always gonna have stuff that you're supposed to be at. So it's a matter of carving time out for other people, in my opinion.
I like that, thank you. And for those that might be considering the 8A program or the DBA program, each of you have participated in some of these different programs, which is why Norma, Erica, and I were like, okay, great, we know who to call when we want to have this panel because we've worked with at least one of us has worked with each of you. For those that are not familiar with those programs, and afterwards, if you're interested in hearing more, please do come and see Norma, Erica, or myself, and we can direct you to moving forwards towards those programs. But if each of you could talk about your experiences with the different support programs, what's worked well, what hasn't, or things that one might want to consider with these different programs so that others can be aware of those resources and charge ahead.
I've already talked about it, so I'm gonna let you guys. Oh wait. Just kidding.
I'm actually in the process of of applying for the 8A application. And so funny story about me, I was born in American Samoa, so we're the only island that's a U.S. territory, but we're not considered citizens yet. So we can vote, and these are all things I found out this year. So we can vote in the state, we can vote for all of that, but we can't vote for the federal elections. So I'm in the process of getting that done and then starting my 8A application. And I have I know that you guys have the Mentor Prodigy program, so I wanted to sign up for that. But I am currently, for the CDL program, I'm currently working with Anthony Green with AKA Holly, which is a DBA project that Norma and them started. So that's where, and then we also have a DBE, WBE application that we submitted. So that's where I'm at.
So that's kind of where I started out, really, was the SBA, Small Business Administration. Got a hold of those guys and kind of just felt them out to, how do you start a business? How do you start this kind of business? So, with a little bit of a plan as to where you're going to go and, where it might take you and things that you should consider. You want to get a good attorney, you want to get a good accountant, and you want to get a good insurance company. Those are some pretty key points that, once you got those, then, it helps you move forward. And the SBA also had some classes. So I picked up a really good attorney that way. And, kind of just moved into that direction. And then, of course, I'm not sure exactly how. Started out with 8A. I thought, I can get into the 8A program. But since I'm a subcontractor, it doesn't really work for me. So that kind of got pushed away. So I ended up going into the DD and then the WBA. So that's the women's business side. So not only am I with the disadvantaged business, I'm also with the women's disadvantaged business as well. So those were all really good stepping stones for our company. They help you in maybe trying to find a job. That's supposed to be the idea. But they also give you some reimbursements, if it comes to some of these expenses that you have. So there's some benefits to being a DBA, and can't say enough good about that program. It's just a very awesome program. Thank you for inviting me today. I didn't expect to come up here and talk by any means. I thought I was just going to come up and maybe meet all you women and have some food
And men.
and maybe a glass of wine and call it good. But no, you guys are all talking about questions and I got like personal here. But thank you for inviting me. This has been fun. And thanks for the DBA.
And thank you for joining us. We're so glad that each one of you has different nuggets of experiences that will help many of the folks in this room that raise their hands and that they are growing their businesses and or have had many successes already and are looking for additional insights into how they can make it even more successful and perhaps might be able to help amplify and collaborate with and might find some customers in this room. Who knows? Good business development opportunity. Always these kinds of events. Love to talk more on the how you grew this business. What were some of the bottlenecks and aspects of growing a business that really stuck with you and you didn't think that you might go through that? Maybe you didn't have a great accountant and well, that set you back a few tax years, or some programs that you participated in didn't have the returns that you thought that you might be able to get from it. What are those bottlenecks that you didn't anticipate that either slowed you down or might even have accelerated you?
I'll go.
Great.
Pops
Please.
right up to my head. Workers. Am I on?
All right, you just have to hold it closer.
Can you hear me now? Okay. So the biggest bottleneck for me was the employees. Can you find the work? Can you find good work? So that to me was my biggest challenge. And supervisors, you can find a flagger every day because all you have to do is get online and you can get a flagger certificate. Pretty easy. And then you have to go out and get the experience. But to actually become a supervisor, it's hard to find people with that experience. And it's very limited. So I'm always up for the challenge of getting people on board to learn how to be a supervisor and do a good job at it. So rather than trying to field through a bunch of people that I just, trying to figure out who I can get to work, I decided to join the local laborers 341. So I'm signatory to the laborers. And what better people can you get, right, than people who are trained, they're certified, and they have a lot of education that they're entitled to, that they can, not entitled to, but that they have, whether it's through any of their OSHA programs, first aid, CPR, emergency evacuation things are kind of good to know. Just all these little things that you don't think about, when you're on the job. So those are my bottlenecks. So I got out of that by getting the right people on board, and so the laborers is where I found that out.
So that's exactly true. That I'm going to piggyback off of that. Yeah, it's going to be workers, finding great workers, especially coming out of like COVID. It was difficult for people to, to restart or to come out of the COVID season, so it was difficult to find good workers. But I think for this specific program, the bottleneck portion of it is this, because we are a registered apprenticeship program, so we have 144 hours. It's a federal program. 144 hours of it is related technical instruction, which is, they just changed up the rules for federal motor safety carriers for DMV schools, CDL schools. So I think when that changed, and then having a new director of apprenticeship program here in Alaska, so I want to say they were still working on registered apprenticeship programs. So there's not too many of these programs that have been built. So having the first or second or even third was difficult. They were new to it, we were new to it. I think after like a year or two of getting our programs established, we finally got it certified, and then we had to get the approval from Alaska Commission Post-Secondary Education. Then we had to go to Department of Labor. That was another year, so it was just really long. And a lot of the times when it takes that long, people kind of just want to give up, and you just got to keep going forward. You just got to keep going forward until you see the vision come to pass.
There's been a lot of bottlenecks, but yes, the staffing thing for sure. And you have to be a pretty good salesman to convince somebody to come to work for a couple of small business people when we don't have all the resources that the larger businesses have. So you have to offer something that they would like that's going to make their life a little better. So, for instance, it used to be not commuting to Anchorage. So we knew somebody who worked in Wasilla, we'd say, hey, we'll pay you the same amount, but you don't have to drive to Anchorage anymore. So you just have to try to figure out what's going to make that person happier and what's going to work for you, and something in the middle. That seemed to work for us. And so far, I think it's ongoing though. I could go on for hours about personnel. We're just not even going to go there because we'll probably get sued. No, but the other thing is the red tape and changing of the laws and permits, and oh wait, we have a job, wait, no, we don't have the funding for that. Oh wait, we only have a little bit of funding, can you just do like one step and then in 2 years do the other 2 steps? And it's, I get it, they only have so much money, but as a contractor, you're like, well, it doesn't really work like that. You have to just build the job. You can't just build the step. Yeah, just build. I just want you to build the part everybody can just like dive off the end if they want. Like it doesn't really work like that. Yeah, right. Oh, and then we have to pay you the whole time until they get the money to build the rest of it. And then in the meantime, you come in and start the bungee jumping business, and we can jump off, right? Yeah, see? We got it all worked out now.
I mean, that's what happens when you put a group of women together. And there you go, ladies and gents. We have a whole new business that we just started. Any bungee jumpers out there? No, it's true. All the different pieces, and all of you have kept on going forward and found new opportunities despite all of these challenges, and have, found your successes. And talk a bit about the community and your support systems, because we all know that it takes a village to get anything done. Talk about the folks that are in your lives that are helping you and making you who you are.
This is too fuzzy for me. Too touchy-feely. Kara over here is our office manager, and I was commuting to Anchorage and jumping my kid off at her house. Yeah. So, and now she got sick of dealing with other people's children, and now she deals with now truck drivers, equipment operators, you name it. She wishes she was wiping butts at home. Sorry, Kara. She babies them all.
She's the SBA Small Business Person of the Year this summer.
Amy and Tasha are recognized as Alaska's SBA Business of the Year.
So don't go afraid. Go out there and get recognized. She can help you get recognized for your public. You just can't be fearful. You just have to go for it. That's what Amy does.
Be fearful and go for it.
She's not fearful. She goes for it.
Oh.
So,
I'm not fearful. There we go.
Don't be fearful.
Mine helps.
Oh, mine. Lena and Lisa, what about you?
Gosh, I can't even say thank you enough to my team. I have an amazing team in the different offices, and then I have a team of amazing supporters here. Lee and Theo left, but And then I want to say thank you to those two back there. We've been driving down to Kenai to get semi trucks for our CDL program. Last year when we were looking, they were short on some of the semi trucks because of the semiconductor chips and stuff like that. But so I took my three little ones, and he was babysitting them the whole time and entertaining them. So they call him best friend now. So I was like, thank you so much, Henry. You saved me. And so we just have an amazing team of people in the office, people in the houses, even our community. We just have an amazing team of communities and supporters. So I can't even thank them enough because I'm here to speak to you guys because of their support.
And Lisa.
So yeah, right gonna tag right out all that because
Closer to the mic, please.
oh sorry. Just feel like I'm like kissing the mic when I'm right up here. It just doesn't feel comfortable. Okay. So yeah, it's all about teamwork. The community has a lot to offer and opportunities. We just have to be able to find them. And I think little organizations like this where we all come together to help each other in all of our ventures and where we want to go. And if you got a good backbone and everybody in your organization works for you and positive thinking, a lot of things can happen. And the support that we have in this community is unbelievable. You just have to know where to look and take advantage of it. I guess that would be the big thing because it's always there, but unless you take advantage of it, then it's not going to do you any good. So again, thank you guys for that. Thanks for this opportunity here because this is a big opportunity for us.
Thank you. All right, I'll ask one last question, and then I'll turn it over to all of you for your questions. So start simmering on what you want to hear from our speakers, and I'll run around the room with this mic. Then you three will be left with one mic up here while I run around, just for logistics. All right, last question. What is one thought or word of advice for all the folks out here and online who are listening? Who might be aspiring business owners or are in those early stages or later stages, what would you like them to know?
Well, have a plan and be prepared to change it because you're going to have to change it all the time. And find out what you're really good at, and not only what you're good at, but what's making sense for the amount of effort that you're putting in versus what your reward is, and go for it and be true to yourself. And don't forget that I've seen a lot of people, including myself, you just become these workaholics because you just have so much you have to do and you don't want to say no to work because we also have to pay our bills and there's all of the things. But in the long run, you look back and you're like, gosh, I could have missed that because my kid had a basketball game. You're going to remember, you're going to regret a lot, but when you're in the moment, just take a pause and think, all right, tomorrow, the next day, what's more important? And if you don't keep your family and friends at the top of everything as a priority, then it's going to be pretty lonely at the top. So just keep that in mind.
We're working on that, Sharon.
My one word of advice is do not give up. Do not give up. When people give up, do not give up. When things go wrong, do not give up. Just keep going. That's it. It's going to be a struggle, but you will get there as long as you don't give up on yourself.
And of course, all of that and a lot of notes. Anything that comes to mind, just write it down because there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be bombarding you when you want to start something. And taking you different directions. There's going to be so many things to remember, and you're going to have your family life going all crazy, and and then your business life's going to be going all crazy, and you're going to forget something. So I'm sure you have that too, right? So yeah, if you write it down, I think that that helps keep you organized. So that's my word of advice.
I like it. Thank you, ladies. All right, one big round of applause before we turn to the audience. And now that I have all of you energized, who will raise their hand for the first audience question? We'll go name and who do you work for, including yourself or your company name. And ladies, remember, share the mic. Hi, Melanie Glado, owner and principal consultant at Turn Consulting. We're a management consultancy based here in Anchorage, Alaska, that works with clients across the world about getting better at digitization, so how digital technology will improve how your business works. And our emphasis is on, it's not about technology, it's about how people work together. So my question is for you, because I work primarily in process industry, which is oil and gas, mining, and chemicals. And I can imagine that some of my challenges might be similar to yours. It's a very established industry with a lot of established networks, and it can be hard to break into. So I'd be interested to hear what you have to say and advice you have to pass on about how you've done that. In particular, I'm curious about how your passion for safety helped differentiate you from those providers and maybe helped you break in.
Well, I hope I understand your question. Maybe trying to make sure that you have everything organized. Let's go back to the organize. Once you're organized, you'll have opportunities that just kind of start coming, and use those opportunities. You have to work your plan. You have to have a plan, and then you work the plan. And when you have the community to help you with these different resources, and then you know what you need in your field. I was thrown way out there because I heard oil and gas, and I'm thinking, pipeline? Do we need traffic control for pipelines? I envision when I get a project, what I have to do for traffic control. Okay, so I know that this is what you're going to need for your project. And so I already have a plan knowing what you're going to need. Bridges, road work, any of these type of things that, require my specialty. So you have a specialty in your field that you know, right? So you just horn in around that, and a lot of ums coming out of here. But the safety end of it is that you know what it takes to keep everybody safe. And I would imagine that the oil and gas has got, I don't know. I mean, you have to maybe go, ocean has a lot of things, I can tell you that right now. They're your greatest resources. If you don't know anything about safety, just click in OSHA on your computer and see what it tells you, because it'll keep going on and on. I mean, there's a list of things there. I hope I answered your question.
Do you want to talk a bit about how you entered the industry, and even though there might have been already a lot of players and your differentiator was safety, how did you stay true to yourself? How did you find those opportunities even if you weren't getting the contracts right off the bat? Was that
Okay, I see what you're saying. Sorry about that. I just jumped right over that.
Absolutely fine. We've been throwing a lot at you.
Yeah, wow.
I've been throwing a lot at you.
So yeah, I have a lot of competitors out there, as you all know. I don't need to name them because you know who they are, but I figured, why not one more? Why not one more? So I didn't let that stop me, and these are big players. You know, these guys have been in it for years. And so I just wasn't held back by that. I just went ahead and went full steam ahead. And, you know, the worst that could happen is that they would all say no, you know? So, and that wasn't the case for us. So, you know, we started out small, and it wasn't like we ended up with big, huge jobs, you know? We just didn't, you know? We did a lot of little things and got into some more and more and more, and, you know, it just happens. You know, nobody wakes up and is going to be, you know, a master at what they do and be a great business owner, right? When you wake up, I wish that worked out that way, but you know, you just kind of just had to keep going, and I think it finally I just wasn't going to let nothing stop me, so I just kept going, and
And here you are.
and here I am. Unbelievably, I'm here.
Very believably. Lena, Amy, anything to add about entering a pretty established market and finding your own path and success?
I think what you're saying is just be consistent and persistent, and at some point they're going to be in a bind and need you, and that's when you need to say, we can do it. And once you get the foot in the door and they know they can call you, rely on you, and you start building those relationships, you're making them look good. So as long as you keep making them look good, they're going to keep coming to you to try to make them look good, and then you can just build from there. But initially, it's kind of painful and inconvenient and doesn't always go how it's planned. But I've said yes to things that I didn't want to do and won't do again. But it built a relationship that down the road ended up paying off.
I'm going to say, I don't think even though you might have a lot of the same company in that industry, or you might have competition, I don't think every company is the same. I think everyone has a niche, or if they're all copying each other, then you're just going to have a bunch of copycats, and you just need to come in there with something different. You just need to bring something different, because I believe that what drives our economy is evolution and innovation, right? So I think just like in technology, there's always breakthrough stuff. And I think when you can come in and, just like what you were saying, the rules change and then the market field is different. So it's not gonna be the same market field 5 years ago, especially with technology. Like, everything's obsolete so fast. You sneeze and an iPhone is out of out of date, you know what I mean? So I don't know what that field looks like, but I believe if you have a niche, especially, well, you're in the digital era, right? You're in the digital field, so you already know it's going to be about innovation and what you can bring to the companies and to the people that you serve as a solution. So, yeah.
Thank you, ladies. All right, one more audience question. Nico. And then we'll open it up to networking and one-on-one.
Hello, ladies. My name is Kamiko Helming. I'm here with Mind, Body, and Safety. And my question for you is, if any of you have experienced somewhat rapid growth in your business, how did you deal with that? What was your strategy to kind of facilitate that growth?
And Miss SBA Alaska of the Year.
Hello.
Yep.
How do we facilitate it? Managing chaos? Is that a thing? Okay, you're gonna manage the chaos. And just one little thing at a time, what you can control, just remember, that's all you can control. And then talk about it later, and it's no big deal. But I'm sure that you're only gonna get as much as you can handle, and if it's too much, make sure you ask for help. You get independent contractors in there to help you. It might be more than what your bid is, But if they can help you be more efficient, then you're going to save it on the other end. Other subcontractors, I mean, we couldn't do it without our subs and other independent contractors. We can't staff our projects, the whole job by itself. Like we just can't. And we won't, and I don't think it's a good business model to do that as well. So I guess that's all I got for you.
Any other tidbits?
I think the question was, how do you handle huge growth, right? I think you're gonna get whiplash first, so just hold on. Put your seatbelt on.
Safety first.
Safety first. And then I just believe that when you start and you build something, I think you have to have a vision for growth, period. I think you have to be able to scale up and understand that even though you're building for, say, 10 or 20 customers, you got to plan for 100 or 200. And then when you plan for that, when I first started my private home care agency, I didn't even realize how fast it would grow, but there was a huge need for it. So when you step into an arena, I believe you're coming in to fill a need, to serve. So when you do that, just plan for that gold, that rush, that's, that floodgate that's about to open on you.
Yeah, growth. Woo, we like growth. So there's a lot of opportunities that are coming out. And when you do a good job and they see your work is something that they gotta have or they want to have, because your company's proven itself, you'll start seeing a lot more opportunities open. People will be they'll want a part of that. And that's what happened with us. We started having a lot of big doors open up. And so with that growth and a lot of people wanting to come and be a flagger or, and on the highway, we had a lot of things going on down there that, required day and night. So, we had so much going on that, it worked itself out. Everything works itself out. When you have all the right players, you have all the right team work behind you, it just falls into place. You just can't get overwhelmed because you already know your job. And it just does. When you start having a lot of headaches and heartaches, that means you're growing. So that's a good thing. So no pain, no gain.
So hold on.
I'm just going to add on to that. So what I mean by scaling up and having a vision for growth, right? So some of the things are going to work when you have 10 clients and they're not going to work when you have 100. Or you have to automate some of your systems or get to the point where you depend on some of the softwares or apps. But like I said, you have to really, really know your industry and really know your field and then start to plan for scaling up. Yeah.
Great. I like it. Hopeful words to close off this panel with. And I'd like to bring up my co-hosts, Norma and Erica, if each of you will want to say a few words about your program since they were both given shout outs during this evening. Norma, you go first. Oh, Norma first.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to talk about the programs because many of you already know about the SBA, the AD program, but I do want to highlight that Rashad Joseph, the DOT Civil Rights Manager, is in the house. Hey, Rashad. I was trying to hide. He oversees the DD program, but when we came up with this panel, we talked about
state.
Yes, that is correct. The state DD program. We, so many themes, right? And the theme of celebrating women who construct. That just hit my heart because many of you in the room know me. We go way back, like 5-10 years. I don't know how many hairdos, but Kirsty, Misty, Janet, Carrie, is Christina still here? Oh, Julia. Well, these are women who started in construction years ago, and I knew them when they're like, I have this idea, what do you think? Or they just said, you know what, I'm jumping into this. And it's a very, male dominant industry. We've shared tears, we've shared wine, we've shared what the hell we were doing. But you know what, here you are today, $1 million contracts, national SB business persons of the years, you and your husband. And so I foresee all of this continuing to happen, the momentum that we have in this room. Eric and I, we just talked about like, oh, we should do a gala event. I'm like, oh yeah. Let's get dressed up in our boots and hard hats. Why not? Anyways, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's so great to see, familiar faces, new faces. But the SBA, you know our mission. We're here to help you start, grow, expand, recover your business. We do it through programs, resources, but mostly our partner resources that we have, the Small Business Development Center, the Women's Business Center. Whee! Lisa Nolan's in the house too. Talk to her. We just cut the ribbon on that center last fall. She's amazing, doing great things for us and for our community statewide. So thank you everyone. I think we still have some food and wine left over. Erica, come on up.
Oh, yeah.
I'm hungry.
Follow up with that. Hi everyone, I see a lot of familiar faces as well. My name is Erica Berry. I'm the director of the Office of Equal Opportunity, the Municipality of Anchorage. It's such a mouthful every time I say that. But I am in City Hall on the first floor. I am currently in Office of One, but I would love to speak to everyone here. My business cards are up front. At the city, my office runs the DBE program and the small business program on top of a few other things. So unfortunately, I cannot hand out millions of government dollar contracts, but I can help you find them and send them to you and invite you to these events so we can all network together. And that really is my goal this year, is to network. And there's a lot of money in government contracting. I want everyone to get involved in it, and at least if they want it, to try and apply for it. So lastly, we also supported another small business. We have pre-wrapped cookies that you can take on the way home there from the Baddest Batch. And she is a veteran-owned, woman-owned business that makes cookies, and there is a lot of them, so please take them. So I don't take them home. So that's it.
Thank you all so very much. A big round of applause for our panelists. Thank you to the Bridge for having us here and catering, and please eat the food and mingle, make good connections, exchange business cards, and we thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.